Okay, awesome. Beautiful, beautiful day here in Utah. Absolutely beautiful for everybody. Anybody who is on the call in Utah can look out their window and see today is bright and shiny, and it happens to be the very last day of April, which I always love the beginning of the month, and you guys heard me say this before, because I really like having the day to set your goals for the month. Tomorrow should be your day to where you're gonna write down where you want to be by May 31st. Your small goals, your large goals. By May 31st, what do you want? What rank would you like to be? Or underneath you, how many 1Ks do you want to break? Or how many people do you want to sign up? So write that down. The 1st of May tomorrow, write that down to decide where you want to be at the end of May. Always such a great time. And May is beautiful, very beautiful. Also, Joe's going to be traveling. There's lots of opportunity meetings going on, even just outside of this tour that Joe's doing. Lots of meetings going on. He'll be in Missouri, May 5th, Michigan, May 6th, Ontario, Canada, May 7th, Vancouver, Canada, May 12th, May 17th in Florida. Today's in Tucson. Yesterday he was in Las Vegas. And there's many, many more, and we're all working up to our June 2nd Super XBA. So, again, lots of great things coming up this spring. Everybody wants to be at the XBA because there is super good announcements going on there. I've heard Gordon and the founders dropping some hints here and there of what is coming up, what possibly product launches, a different kind of launch even for some of the systems and stuff. So very, very exciting times. So anyway, we have a special guest on this call, Tom Ferrier. He has been in the industry for many years. He is, one of the top in the industry. He's a 200K for XANGO, multi-million-dollar earner. He loves XANGO. He loves to come into corporate. He always brightens up our day. He is probably one of the kindest men I've ever met in my life, and I'm not just saying that because he's my friend, but he really is, and he loves XANGO. So, Tom, are you there? Can you go ahead and go over how to prospect? We want to hear from the best.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Kelly. It's always a joy to walk into XANGO or be at a meeting and see your smiling face. So thank you so much. Well, welcome everybody this morning. I know it's 8 a.m. on the Pacific coast and way late in London and Isle of Man and Denmark. Thank you for coming on around the world this morning to get a few tips. I hope everybody will listen closely and take away at least one thing that I have to say this morning. I first want to lay a little background, just take a few minutes and just, I know we have some brand new people on, and I know the pressure's on because we have our master distributor, Dwayne Dyer, on. I appreciate him being on the call this morning. But I want to lay a little bit of background about Carol and I. We got married very, very young. Gosh, we were 18, barely 19 years old, and very shy, extremely shy. And I want to give one example and just let you know, we were fearful and just had a hard time coming out of our shell for many, many years. And I remember buying my wife, our first year of being married, this beautiful pair of shoes at a major department store. And we're talking back in 72, 73 era, so a long time ago. And $60 was a lot of money back then well, at least I thought, for a pair of shoes. And gosh, she wore them out, just the first few days she had them, and they were these beautiful leather shoes, and she hit something, and a huge chunk of leather just tore right off of the shoe. It was nothing you could hide. And, most of the time people would take that back and return it immediately. I think this was the first time she ever wore them. And folks, we were both so shy. We didn't even know how to do that, or we were fearful. But here's the thing, folks. This industry of network marketing can bring you out of that and bring you past if you allow change in your own life. That's what this is about. We can do our regular jobs that we go to do. Gosh, I did that for 40 years. Go do those, build our confidence, do them well, but not really break out of those things that we hide away in our lives and in our hearts and in our minds. And I want to challenge you today to break out. Pick a word. My word for this year is options. There's options in life. You can break out of that shell, that mold that you've been molded into, and become a prospector. We've got great prospectors. I think of, some of our leaders and some of our new people that are great prospectors. I think of Janelle Crane and how she talks about, she always is a top recruiter. And when she shared on this call earlier, I have a lot of fishing poles in the water all the time. And I go, what a great example of prospecting and being out there and talking to people and finding people to join her business. I think of other people like Ray Heron, and his 4 points that he loves to talk about all the time. All we're looking for is people that want some better income and some better health. I wish I could do that Texahoma accent that he has. I love that about him. He's real, folks, and that's what we need to be when we're prospecting. We need to be real. Don't try to be somebody else. I tried that for years and years, decades ago. I'd look at leaders and I'd say, oh gosh, if I could be just like them, I could be successful. It's not about that. It's about developing your own style. So, and I think about other people that prospect. A lot of people, it comes naturally to them. I'm not like that. Most people aren't like that. But we can develop those skills if we decide to make a change. And so I wrote on my rearview mirror 13, 14 years ago before I got into XANGO, and I saw the opportunity. This is my chance to make a change. Maybe today is your chance to make a change in your life. Change it for the rest of your life. It's been wonderful. I look back. If you knew me, I know some people have known me before XANGO came into my life that are maybe on this call this morning. I'm not the same person, and that's okay. I love it about this industry and about XANGO. I love the community, the culture that XANGO brings out in us. One of the leaders talked about, I heard a training one day about, there's 52 cards in a deck, and we're looking for the aces. Every day we don't pick up the cards and just play one round of cards, whatever game it is. We play another one, and we have fun with our friends, and we pick up another hand, and we play. And so this is continually picking up that deck of cards and going through it and passing them out to people. Are you my ace? I'm looking for an ace to find. One leader in the industry that I heard about, talked to 1,200 people. Now that's a lot of people, isn't it, folks? Most of us are, we're talk to our family or our friends, and they all say no, and we go, well, this doesn't work, and we give up. You know what? This person talked to 1,200 people. It wasn't probably in a month or a year. It was over his career, but he said only about 350 ever signed up with him. Now that's still a lot of people. Still a lot, maybe distributors and customers signed up with him. But then again, only maybe 1%. Think about that, 1,200 people. 1% of that is 12 people. And it was even less than that that made him a multimillionaire. You know, I sit on the phone someday and call and call and call. And some days it's frustrating, but I've made this my rule, and I want you to make this your rule. Don't stop until you make something positive happen. If you're out and talking to people, make something positive happen. Don't stop after the first or the second or the third person, you know, cuts you off and won't let you talk to them. Find something positive to talk about. I want to take just a moment and share what happened yesterday, a recent thing with me. Usually I'm out early in the morning doing errands, and then I love to, you know, talk with the distributors, maybe do some three-ways in the afternoon, and then early evenings and throughout the evening I like to make fresh calls to new people. And so yesterday morning I was out and went to our local cable thing, had to take a cable box and exchange it, and drove up and sat there for a few minutes. I think I was on a call or something, and got out of my vehicle, and the gentleman sitting in his car next to me made a comment, and I walked over and started a short conversation with him, nothing big. And then another gal came and got in the car. She came out of the front door of the building. And, you know, it's about creating relationships with people. It's about making that foundation with people. I didn't know these people. We just started a short conversation. Let me tell you, folks, being a listener is very important. Being a question asker, that's sort of hard to say, a question asker. But I've become a professional question asker. Do that with yourself. Develop 3 or 4 questions. I know my wife loves scripts. I'm not a script person. Never have been, probably never will be. I know it helps when I do write a script and at least get a better idea. But, you know, we need to learn how to ask questions of people, draw them out, see what they're looking for in life. We're always going to find out pretty quickly if somebody needs extra income or they're dealing with health issues. It's a major point in people's lives. And if you ask the right questions, you're going to get the right answers. And if I don't get the right answers when I'm standing in a line, you know, going back just a second, we all have to go out and do things almost every day. I push myself to get out of my house because I work from my home. But I need to get out of my house and go do things, whether it's the post office, mailing things, or to the bank, making a deposit, to the grocery store, talk to people in the line. You know, just like this person, they weren't a couple, but a guy and a gal that I was talking to yesterday. You know, asking a few questions, and the gal started sharing, you know, what was going on in her life, why she was in our city, and what she was looking for, that she had owned 2 health food stores, you know, and that was my introduction right there within a few minutes to begin to, you know, share with them what I've found in my life and how it could benefit her and what she's looking for in her own life. And you know what? If you don't have those samples with you, you really can't get them out. And I turned to my vehicle, opened the door, grabbed a couple samples of juice and said, here we go, you know. And, you know, as the conversation went on a few more minutes, folks, I went back, got her the best day yet sample. And so, you know, then it's about getting a name and a phone number. I like to ask for a text number with our applications that we have on our smartphones. They're perfect. To send them a text, to send them a video a few minutes later, and an email address. And you know what excited me, folks? He said, I'd love to come to a meeting. That's what you want to hear. I'd love to hear more. You know, if people are backing up from you, maybe you're not saying the right thing. You know, get people to lean in, get people to step forward. You know, you can sort of hear that on the phone, too, when you're prospecting people. Maybe you're making some cold calls to some leads. Maybe you're calling some friends that you knew years ago. Catch up with them. Don't just slam them with business or how our products are. Catch up with them. Maybe the next call is that call where you'll say, hey, love talking to you, catching up, but now I want to share a little bit. You told me some things about you, and I have some things you might want to hear or you might want to see in a video. I'd love to send that to you. May I send that? Always ask for permission to do something. I did that yesterday with these people. Ask for permission. Get them to step forward. Get them to lean forward. Get them to say yes. And if they don't, here's the thing, folks. Just like that 1,200 people that this leader approached, not everybody, and he's a professional, but not everybody will lean forward. Not everybody will say yes. Folks, that's okay. That was huge for me years ago, because I didn't like getting beat up on the phone or beat up in person. I don't like that. So I began to listen to what I say. I began to watch how people react to what I say. And if they didn't react the way I want them to, I'd change it and I'd say it a little different and try it again. Don't quit 2 or 3 or a dozen or 100 people. Don't stop, folks. You want to build this business, you want to be successful, do what successful people do. I want to go, I just sort of get started now, but, Kelly and everyone, I have to say this, don't stop with just a few. Always stop on a positive call. Always stop on a positive prospecting search. My wife and I love to go to expos. We went to an expo last week. Did I prospect everyone that was there? No. I meet a few key people here and there. Always greet people with a smile. I'm not a big smiler, but I work at it. My wife's a great smiler, and she does wonderful with that. But, always stop on a good one. Don't stop on a bad one. It'll affect your next call, the next day. If you don't end on a good prospecting when you're out and about, it'll affect the next time. Well, I don't have the time to prospect. Take little bits of time. I have a lot of people that say, well, I don't have the time to go out and prospect. Folks, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to get somebody's, name and text number and email address. It takes you listening, asking a few of the correct questions, and then you interjecting, I may have something that you'd really be interested in. Really? Of course. Would you mind giving me your name and a text number? And if you have one, an email address. I always carry a little notebook and a pen on me to have people write them down. Now we have our apps, or, have them put their contact information right in your smartphone right there. And then I have a short text in my notes that I grab, paste into a text, and as I'm standing there finishing up with them, I can text them. What are people going to do? They're going to grab their phone out and look at that text, and I'll go, oh, okay, I got the right number. Awesome. I'll be getting some information back to you in a little bit. It's just about developing yourself. We have great leaders that, we can learn from. I learned from my sponsor and my mentor, people like Ray Heron and Dwayne Dyer. Listen to the upline. Listen to what they're doing, but still put your own personal touch to it, your own personal story to it. Make it personal for yourself. Share that story over and over and over again. And I can guarantee you, if you'll do that day in and day out, taking a few minutes, meeting some new people each day, whether it's by phone or in person, you will be successful in XANGO. It's a beautiful culture in XANGO. It's a beautiful day to be a part of XANGO, and there's, discover the goodness. There's more goodness coming. Kelly, thank you.
Wow, I couldn't write fast enough. I'm like, lots of tips on there. Let me just break them down just a little bit. So, I really liked what you say about picking a word, and your word for the year was options. My word for the year is opportunities, and your own style. Develop a skill. Most importantly, don't give up. Make something positive. Always end on a positive note, no matter what it is. Build relationships. Become a great, great listener, which is very key. And become a pro at question asking. Always have samples on you, and request an email or some sort of number to follow up on. So great business tips, great call as usual. Tom and XANGO Nation, thank you. Tom, especially thank you, and Carol for always leading, always being a bright light, always educating, always being able to be willing to come on the calls. You're at corporate doing opportunity meetings every week. So you guys are definitely, one of the people that everybody should learn from. So appreciate you all so very much. And remember your goals. Remember tomorrow's May 1st. So have a great rest of your spring day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.